Hello there. I'm heading to Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. I had a client with a last minute request, and although it's about 2 hours from Annapolis, I figured, you know what, I'm going to go up there. There's a ton of history in the area, and maybe I'll have some time to go and check out some of the different spots in the area of Prospect Peak and Berkeley Springs. And so I thought, you know what the heck, I'm going to go ahead and try to get up there as quick as I can. And part of that is because the temperatures are cold. Today is supposed to be a high of around 23, and then sunset is supposed to be around 9 degrees. And on top of that, we have a winter storm warning, and New England, I believe, is under a blizzard advisory, so that I'm going to have limited time here to get up here and get the drone up in the air to get the shots. You know, the thought of being in freezing temperatures on the side of the mountain is not what I would call my favorite activity. Being outside and flying the drones during winter is one thing, but being freezing, worrying about the performance of the drone's battery because it's so cold and the wind speeds and all that other nonsense, that's not fun to me necessarily. But you know, I think back to the times when I was a kid and I had early January soccer games and it was freezing and I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to go play soccer, but I did it and I forced myself to do it. And those were some formative years for me. I have a lot of great memories for all the years that I played, and being in those uncomfortable and miserable situations, I think, were really important. And that's kind of how I look at this. I look at this as I'm putting myself in an uncomfortable situation for a couple days, but the potential gains that I'm going to get out of it are well worth it. You know, I think that once you realize the value of being in an uncomfortable situation, you tend to be a little bit more willing to put yourself back into that situation or ones like it more often, because you realize that the gain that you can receive from it, and then the cycle will just repeat itself. It goes against every fiber of being a human because we like familiar, we like comfortable, but if you do go out there and you seek out discomfort, you start to build confidence. And then you start to get these great experiences that you wouldn't have otherwise had. So hello from Prospect Peak. This is going to be my home for the next 2 days. I'm going to be doing some flying with the Mavic 3, the DJI FPV, and I'm going to try to bring out the Skyview, but the tree cover is pretty thick, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the Skyview out, but we're going to sure as heck try. crazy right now. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bald eagle. And he literally followed me all the way down the Potomac River that you see in the background. He's way off in the distance now. He literally followed the drone all the way down the Potomac River. And I rushed it back because he started circling me, and he was moving about as fast as I was moving in normal mode on the Mavic 3. I could have switched to sport, but I just wanted to get it back. But he just took off, but holy cow. I had a bald eagle chasing me. I hope I caught it on video. I'll have to go back and look, but I tried to catch it as I was racing back. The bald eagle is back. He's over here now. He has been chasing my drone for the past 15 minutes, and he circles over and over, and he gets closer and closer as I fly up and down the Potomac River right here. He's a beautiful creature, but I don't want to lose my drone to him. Not today. So I made it back from Berkeley Springs. It was kind of a weird trip. It was a quick trip. It was last minute, obviously, for a client, but I had some things that I wanted to do and some things that I did, and so I got a little bit of both. I got some amazing shots yesterday. It was beautiful. I got the client's property shots out, and I wanted to try to get some shots maybe when the sun was setting, or maybe this morning when the sun was rising. But unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans for me, and it was way too cold. This morning I woke up and it was about 9 degrees. And there are drone pilots out there that are flying in colder weather, and you know what? More power to you. I just didn't want to take a chance. I didn't want the drone to fall out of the sky and then be a couple miles away. I have to trudge through the snow and the cold to find it, and the fact that it was pretty hilly. That would have been one heck of a struggle to get the drone back, and safety hazard obviously too. I didn't want it to, even though I wasn't flying over anybody or any cars, anything like that, restricted area, it still didn't want it to come out of the sky. But regardless, it was a great trip. Had a blast. I'm gonna go back. There's all these historical sites I really want to get and I want to check out, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna try to maybe do that maybe in late February, March, when the weather starts to break. It's still pretty cold here. But I'm blessed that I was able to get a last minute job done for a client. The weather, was originally going to be 14 degrees, ended up being like 27 to 22. So it was still cold, but it was manageable, and I was able to get everything that I wanted to do. So thanks so much for watching. If you could just take a moment and like the video, it makes a huge help. I really appreciate that. And, I don't have a ton of traction yet on the channel, but I have had a couple people reach out to me with some of the videos I've posted. And thank you for that. The encouragement, the kind comments are so welcome. And it just helps me to kind of get this thing off the ground. It's still in the early days of this channel, in the early days of things that I want to do. Getting outside your comfort zone in front of a camera like this, and having to talk about yourself and what you're doing, and that's new for me. I'm used to being kind of in behind the scenes and not in front of the camera, and the fact that I'm able to do this and bring you some of these experiences that I'm doing and that I want to do in the coming year is really, really cool. So I feel really thankful for the fact that I had the courage to get up and do it. So thanks so much, and we'll see you guys soon.